Before the commencement of trial and court proceedings in a lawsuit filed by Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, and a popular human rights lawyer against Martins Oshe aka VeryDarkMan, who prided himself as online police, a federal high court sitting in Lagos State has issued a pre-trial order, asking VeryDarkMan to remove the videos and comments he made on social media platforms in which VeryDarkMan expressed his own opinion about Femi Falana and his son, Falana aka Falz, over their alleged conspiracy with a cross-dresser, Idris Okuneye aka Bobrisky, to undermine Nigeria's legal system. The court asking VeryDarkMan to remove the entire video, which parts contain alleged self-confessional voice message of Bobrisky, which the audio voice has become an issue of public interest and importance. The action of the court may be seen as aiding and abetting parties whose names were mentioned in the audio voice message to cover up public truth or deny public right to know. The ruling of the court on the ground of common sense may be a clear case of judicial oppression and intimidation of a person of public informant or a source of public information, because Femi Falana in the pre-action lawsuit apparently is not challenging the authenticity of the audio message if it was original or fabricated, but he appears to have only seek legal interpretations to the fundamental rights of freedom of expression of VeryDarkMan to express his own personal opinion as a result of the contents of the audio message. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has stated that its personnel moved into Urban Radio Station on Monday evening to effect the arrest of prime-time program host Favour Ekoh following allegation of fraud she allegedly committed. EFCC in a statement on Tuesday said the managing director of the radio station, two security guards who locked the gate against EFCC officials, were arrested alongside Favour Ekoh. The EFCC statement reads, on Monday, October 14, 2024, a team of operatives of the Enugu Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, comprising 4 officers, were at Urban Radio 94.5 FM, Enugu, to invite one Favour Ekoh, host of Primetime, a program running at the station. Ekoh is being investigated by the Enugu Zonal Directorate of the EFCC in an alleged 700 million naira Ponzi scheme fraud involving about 50 victims. According to the victims, Ekoh allegedly lured them into investing in a scheme, live trading, in a company, Leverage Index Limited, where they were offered returns on investment of 10% of their capital after a period of time. The victims alleged that after investing their money into the company located at number 1 Colliery Street, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has invaded Urban 94.5 FM radio station in Enugu State and arrested a journalist while she was on mid-air presenting a program. EFCC said it carried out the arrest after the journalist failed to honor its invitation over allegation of a Ponzi scheme made against her. But the station said EFCC took away more 1 presenters, and an official of the station claimed 3 persons were arrested. According to EFCC, the female journalist was released after she was taken to their office in Enugu State. According to Sahara reporters, EFCC said it carried out the operations on Monday morning. Close watchers said, all efforts to allow the presenter finish her program proved abortive as the EFCC operatives insisted on going away with the suspect. The management of Urban 94.5 FM said in a statement that the EFCC agents invaded the studio around 5:45 p.m., forcibly took away some staff and a presenter alongside seizing communication equipment. The station assured its listeners that it is addressing the situation and will keep them informed through its platform. The management apologized for the disruption and expressed hope for a quick resolution of the issue. The board and management of Urban Radio 94. Diplomatic relations between India and Canada appeared to have collapsed on Monday as both countries expelled 6 each other top diplomats following India's refusal to remove the diplomatic immunity on some of its diplomats. Canadian government suspected to have been involved in criminal acts and murder of Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was agitating for the declaration of Khalistan Republic from India, whom Indian security had accused of being a member of Khalistan Tiger Force, KTF, a secessionist armed group that was declared a terrorist organization by India government in February 2023. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was killed with multiple gunshots in Canada on June 18, 2023. Canadian government accused 6 Indian diplomats of aiding the criminal act and killing of the separatist leader on its soil. On Monday, Canada expelled the 6 diplomats following India to remove immunity clause to pave way for Canadian security operatives to investigate them. India, in a swift reaction on Monday, retaliated and expelled 6 top Canadian diplomats and said it has recalled its diplomats from Canada on the ground that they were no longer safe in the North America country. Khalistan is the name of the proposed state envisioned by some Sikhs, incorporating the Indian state of Punjab as well as other Punjabi-speaking areas of northern India to establish a Sikh nation. The ethno-religious group of protesters in Sweden last week carried coffins on their heads, marching the streets, demanding an end to ongoing war in Gaza, Lebanon and for Israel to stop alleged killing of innocent children in the affected countries. The mock coffins carried by the protesters in Stockholm, Sweden were mainly that of children allegedly killed by Israel in Gaza and Lebanon. Israel has been in war with the Palestinian fighters, Hamas, after the Hamas fighters invaded southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing more than 1,000 of Israeli residents with another set of thousands injured and took away hundreds of other people as hostages. Israel has since responded with full military operation, causing huge devastation and humanitarian destructions in the Palestinian Gaza Strip with more than 40,000 people killed in exchange, according to Gaza Health Ministry. In late September 2024, Israel extended its military operations to Lebanon, killing thousands of people, which the Israeli Authority claimed the attacks were targeted at Hezbollah members and leaders. Meanwhile, hundreds of protesters silently marched the streets while carrying coffins above their heads in Stockholm, Sweden, to show solidarity with Palestine and Lebanon. The protesters carried symbolic coffins as a part of their demonstration in memory of the nearly 7. Not less than 19 persons have been confirmed to have sustained injuries when a Mysuru-Darbhanga Bagmati Superfast Express train collided with a stationary goods train at Kamarapeta station in India, derailing 12 coaches and setting 3 on fire late on Friday. It was gathered that out of the 19 people who sustained injuries, 4 of them were in critical condition. Local media reported that the Mysuru-Darbhanga Bagmati Express collides with the goods train near Chennai, leading to several coaches derailing and catching fire. Emergency services rushed to the site of the incident on Friday night, as India may be known for incessant train accidents in recent years. Unconfirmed reports indicated that the Bagmati Express was apparently running at 75 km per hour when it collided with another train, causing 12 coaches to derail and some caught fire. We had reported in July last year that more than 288 people were killed and 1,000 others injured in late Friday evening multiple train accidents in the Indian state of Odisha. 2 passenger trains and a goods train collided in Balaso, leaving at least 288 people dead and over 1,000 injured, according to Sudhanshu Sarangi, Director General of Odisha Fire Services. The accident, considered as the world's deadliest train crash in the recent 2 decades, involved 3 trains. The 12th, former Anambra State Governor and the Labour Party presidential candidate in the last general elections in Nigeria, Peter Obi, has spoken out to chide or rebuke the killing of a police officer and SuperSports television reporters by unknown gunmen along the dreaded and dangerous Ihiola Olu Road in Anambra State last Tuesday while they were en route to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State for the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifier match between Nigeria Super Eagles and Libya Mediterranean Knights that was held last Friday. Ihiola Olu Road has been like a death trap where unknown gunmen have been killing a lot of travelers, especially security operatives, in recent years, which amongst others included the killing of Major Churchill Orji, police escorts of former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, and the killing of military couple at Olu Forest who was traveling to Nkwere in Imo State for their wedding, Master Warrant Officer Linus Audu, and his partner, an army private, Gloria Matthew alongside military colleagues and family members. Meanwhile, police in Anambra State have rescued 6 journalists who were abducted along the Iseke Olu Road in Ihiola while traveling from Lagos to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Incident: 2 SuperSports TV reporters and 1 police officer were killed on Tuesday. The police spokesperson in the state, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, in a statement on Thursday, said joint security forces carried out the rescue operation. He said efforts with Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has given more details why it cancelled Super Eagles Africa Cup of Nations qualifier match with the Mediterranean Knights of Libya, explaining shortly after the players returned to Nigeria on Monday evening that the airport officials in Libya showed less respect for the players and delegates, including a top government functionary. The High Court reinstated Deputy Governor of Enugu State, Philip Shaibu, who were among the people kept stranded at the Al-Abrak International Airport. Nigeria Super Eagles, in a news release, stated that the players arrived Kano International Airport on Monday evening after a return flight from Libya that took off around 3:15 p.m. NFF's Director of Communications, Dr. Ademola Olajire, in a point-by-point account, narrated how the anticipated Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match was relegated to a fiasco by Libyan federal authorities and Football Federation. The statement reads, 1. The chartered Valuejet aircraft departed from the Victor Atta International Airport, Uyo, at 11:55 hours on Sunday the 13th of October 2024, and landed at the Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, at 13:10 hours, for the completion of immigration formalities and for the aircraft to refuel. 2. The aircraft took off from Kano at 15:18 hours. For the 3 hours and 35 minutes flight to Benghazi, Super Eagles of Nigeria are set to leave Libya after the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, cancelled 2025 match against the Mediterranean Knights of Libya following allegation of poor reception by the host country when Nigeria players arrived at the Al-Abrak International Airport for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier friendly match. There are reports with videos and photographs posted online that Nigeria Super Eagles and officials are currently boarding a plane to return to Nigeria from Libya. Reports indicated that despite Patrice Motsepe, the president of the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF's appeal for Nigeria to stay and honor the game, the NFF refused and the friendly match was scheduled to be played on Tuesday. The Nigeria Super Eagles took the decision not to proceed with their Africa Cup of Nations (AFCON) qualifier against Libya's Mediterranean Knights after being stranded for almost 13 hours at Al-Abrak International Airport. The team's frustration grew as they awaited a flight back home, despite efforts by the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) to arrange transportation to the match venue in Benghazi, according to close watchers. The Nigeria Football Federation said it believed that the delay by the Libyan authorities was intentional. A statement by the NFF Communications Department on Monday said the team were left on Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, an agency of the United Nations, UN, says over 241,000 people in South Sudan have been displaced as a result of yearly flood disaster in the country that have affected millions of the Africa residents for more than a decade. OCHA, in a report on Thursday, said this year flooding disaster took over homes, markets and cut off roads, making it impossible to transport aid to the affected victims. Homes and markets are in floodwaters, forcing people to seek shelter on higher ground. Community members in flood-hit areas are coming together to scoop out water and construct dikes in response to rising water levels, OCHA stated in a tweet. AFP had on March 2023 reported that for the last 4 years, unprecedented flooding linked to climate change has turned almost 2/3 of South Sudan into swampland. The environmental catastrophe is most apparent in the city of Bentiu, in the northern part of the country. Local media stated, the persistent flooding in Unity State, South Sudan, has led to severe deforestation, with trees wilting after prolonged exposure to water, becoming firewood rather than thriving ecosystems. Reuters in August 28, 2024 published a photograph of a survivor who climbed a Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has seized 2 lorries and 1,046 kegs of smuggled premium motor spirit known as petrol and deposited the smuggled petroleum goods at 2 fuel stations for onward sales of the products to members of the public for 630 naira per litre. Nigeria Customs Service, in a news release on Wednesday, said one of the suspected smugglers was arrested during the operations. The statement reads thus: the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) Operation Whirlwind has recorded significant success in its fight against fuel smuggling, seizing 2 lorries, 1,046 kegs filled with premium motor spirit (PMS) and 12 drums of petroleum products. In a press conference held on Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024, in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, the Comptroller General of Customs, CGC Adewale Adeniyi, represented by the Deputy Comptroller General of Customs, DCG Aliyu Alajogun, in charge of enforcement, investigation, and inspection, announced that since the operations launched on the 10th of June 2024, efforts have intensified, yielding further results across multiple border regions. He said, our ongoing operations have recorded substantial seizures in various locations, including the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos State has fixed November 1, 2024 to rule on the application brought before it by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for the final forfeiture of the properties and monies linked to the former Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, who is currently facing series of lawsuits at different courts across the country over his administrative behaviors and operational decisions while he was the Apex Bank governor in the West Africa country. Justice Dende Depeolu of the Federal High Court in Lagos on Friday refused to stay further proceedings in the suit filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, seeking the forfeiture of properties and monies linked to a former governor of the Central Bank, CBN, Godwin Emefiele. Emefiele had, through his lawyer, Olalekan Ojo, SAN, urged the judge to stay proceedings pending the hearing of an appeal he filed before the Court of Appeal seeking to nullify the temporary forfeiture order earlier granted by the court. Rejecting the plea, Justice Dende Depeolu held that interested parties had the right to approach the Court of Appeal, which must be contingent on the trial court's decision. The court also held that an appeal flows from the decision of a trial court, but in the instant case, the court had not made any decision as to any application filed or as to the substantive issues in the suit. During
bringing you the news in a more digital way.